Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Mac.
And today we're going to be giving a CHIPPI review on Life of a Chameleon.
Yes.
So this game was actually sent to us by Last Night Games.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and we did an unboxing video, so you can check that out as well. But yeah, we'll get right into it. If you know anything about chameleons, probably the first thing you think about is colors, and that's what this game basically drives itself on.
Yes.
Being a different color chameleon to catch different colored bugs and try to avoid snakes.
Right.
Yes. But yeah, so we'll just get right into the core mechanisms of the game. And the game board is pretty much kind of a grid board that you are always kind of each turn adding bugs to. And you're trying to collect these bugs in order to complete contracts or fulfill contracts to get more points. And also some bonus cards as well as you're going. I'm giving this a 7. I think it works pretty solid. You get a number of actions, and then you're switching out your colors in order to catch the different bugs. And then I really like how it can feel really special if you can get a couple in a row that kind of fill out a card, because once you get a card and you start filling it out, you have to fill out certain colored bugs and either left to right or right to left, which I find really cool that you have the option to do both, and that way you could maybe catch 2 purple bugs back to back and fill in cards really quickly. And then I also like that when you're taking these cards or filling them out, you get bonus cards that feels really satisfying. Some bonus cards are a little bit better than others, which isn't quite as satisfying. And then I think the other thing that kind of knocks it for me, at least, is the end game trigger, where after you do a card, you roll a 4-sided die, and then it moves down this kind of track that's basically tracking the end game. So if you roll a bunch of 4s, the game's going to go really quick. And if you roll a bunch of 1s, it's going to be longer. Yeah. It's not just 4s and 1s, but you get the gist.
I do. I'm right below you here at a 6. So I agree pretty much with everything you said. I think the part that just gets me is the bugs are placed by dice rolling, and so obviously with any type of dice rolling you're going to get probably some type of skew and color it's just probably not going to work out. And so if the color you need is needed by everyone, or if it's not coming out, that really kind of leaves you in a pickle, and there's not a whole lot you can do.
Well, you can set the color.
Yeah, but not where
it's going.
Goes.
So it could go on the other side of the board.
So I think that part to me is good, but I don't know how else you would do it, but at the same time,
at least you get some mitigation.
When it's so heavily based on the contract colors, then it gets difficult. Especially in that 4-player game. I feel like that was the worst to get. You won it, so you probably think that was fine. But other than that, though, I love the snakes and the movement of them. I think that's really fun. Like you said, all the cards are not created equal, so there's just not a whole lot to this game. So kind of along with that as well, it really is kind of a simplified
family weight game.
Yeah, family weight game. So
yeah, I think if you're looking for heaviness, you're probably not going to find it in this game. But if you're looking for something you can probably play with your kids and stuff, I think that this hits right at that level.
Yes.
Then we get into history, so the number of times we've played it. I think I played it probably one more time than you. So I'm coming in at 5. So if I played this 5 more times, the highest we can get here is a 10. So it could raise my score by 0.5 if I played it 5 more times. But I think you had a 4.
Yeah, I have only played 4 times.
But then we get into investment, so kind of what we're getting out of the game. If you get a bunch out of repeated plays, if the game feels like it's too long, I'm giving this one a 7.25 because it is a pretty quick game. It doesn't ever overstay its welcome. It actually sometimes seems like it. One of the few games that almost ends too early for me, which I don't say about many games at all, but this one kind of does sometimes, because I don't know, sometimes that die just seems to roll high amounts, 3s and 4s constantly, and it's like, well, now I feel like I didn't actually get to do anything.
Well,
which
it is
a
a
little
4-sided die, so it's 50%.
Right, 50% of the time you're going to get those higher ones, but I got those 50% 100% of the time, you see. But otherwise, I think replayability-wise, probably feels pretty similar from game to game, but so that knocks it a little bit. But overall, I think the shortness of it makes it one that you can take out every now and then.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm at a 7, so I think it's great. You know, the replayability probably is not really there. You know, it's a family style game, so you know if you're gonna play this 85 times with your children, you're probably gonna get tired of it. But I think it's one that's fun to take off the shelf every now and again. It's super easy to set up, follow along. I think the rule book's like a pamphlet, so it's not like complicated in that at all. Like you said,
Right.
I think it does go too fast in some cases. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty solid for what it is. So
Yeah, it says 45 minutes to 60 on the box. I don't know if it.
I don't know that
I
we
don't know
pushed
if
that.
it had anywhere quite 60.
No.
I guess I don't know how many times we've played at 4 players, because then I could maybe see that being the
Yeah.
longest, but not really, because it depends how quickly the contracts are fulfilled, and with 4 players, they're gonna get.
Well, it all depends. Yeah.
Kind of all depends.
Yeah. So
but
then we go to.
presentation.
Oh.
What do you got to say about that, Maggie?
Well, I gave it a 9 because
Ooh.
this box, I feel like the box is striking, like this red with the blue chameleon. The artwork, I think, is just adorable. The chameleon itself is so cute on all the cards, and then you get the chameleon pieces in the game, which are also adorable, and they're either one color or they're 2 colors, and so they kind of look like little like gummy chameleons almost, of like, you know, gummy worms that are split colors. So I think that's super fun. The only things that I kind of take it on are the cubes for the flies are square, and when you have like so much production value put into the wooden meeples, it's kind of just like, oh, I wish those were actually like pieces or like different bugs then that you could pick up just to kind of round out that feeling. The cards are good quality, but it's heavily based on color, right? So you're gonna get into some problems with color blindness, I think. And there's not a whole lot to mitigate those things. The bugs,
Right.
technically, I think, are different shaped, but they're cubes
Are they?
on the board, on the artwork.
Oh,
But they're cubes on the thing, and then the chameleons are all the same too. So just that's a teeny tiny thing, but overall, I think the production value on this is great.
yeah, I was coming in at 7, but I think you might have convinced me to bump it up a little bit more.
Hey yo.
7.5 to 8, maybe even. Because I hadn't really thought of like the box insert and stuff's pretty solid. And I really do like the artwork because it does have a very like reptilian feel to a lot of it, which is really cool. But yeah, I think the thing that hit it the most for me was those cubes as well. I think I've just been spoiled by so many other games. It's not like they're a bad thing. It's just, yeah,
Well,
like you
even
said, the
not
chameleons look
comparing
really
it,
nice.
They've got great pieces in
Yeah.
the box, and then
Yeah, that's just it.
cubes.
Yeah, I think I just like thinking of what all the different bugs would look like in those
Yeah.
different colors. But yeah, so that's what kind of hit it the most for me. So maybe my ending score would be a little bit higher because you did convince me that with the insert and the box. The box is probably a little bigger than it needs to be.
It is.
But yeah,
sure.
the artwork is really solid. It really works really well.
Yeah. Well, then we go into preference,
Mm-hmm.
and
I'm coming in with a 7, so it's kind of. Even though 5 should really be an average, it feels like 7 is my average. Where it's
Yeah.
like it's a game I want to take out maybe at least once a year, if not a couple more times than that. And I would recommend it if I'm feeling in the mood for it. That's what my 7 is about. Whereas once you start getting lower than that, it starts being games that someone else has to request. But yeah, I think it's one that I'll take out every now and then. It's just probably a little lighter than my personal taste. And I would just prefer something a little heavier, but if I was playing with people that didn't play as many strategy board games or playing with kids or something, I think this would be definitely way more approachable than some of the games that
Yeah.
I would typically prefer. So
For sure.
I still think it has a solid place in the collection.
yeah. Well, I came in at a 4, and I know that sounds bad, but I think it speaks to everything you were just saying, where, we have a lot of games in the collection, so it's not necessarily a reflection of the game itself, but to me, if for our play, it's a filler game for us. And so if I'm going to pick a filler game, I'm probably going to choose one of the other 25 on the shelf before I pick this one. And I would think this one is reserved for people, who maybe don't play as serious, or maybe we do want a filler game, but that's maybe not as, I don't know, intense as other fill-in games, or just kind of one that's simple fun, and that's exactly what this one is. So I think it's great for what it is. It's just hard to compare it to games that you know and love in your own collection. So I think that's really it. We don't have kids or gaming group with older children or anything like that, so I feel like it's really not one that meets like our gaming situation, and so that's why I just marked the preference down, because someone's gonna have to ask to play this game in order for me to say I want to play it, other than like if I'm taking it out to meet a gaming need for a group or whatever. So
that's fair. That is fair. But yeah, so then we get into our last category, which is it factor. And I'm coming in with a 3 on this one. It's a color-themed games, and a color-themed game. And I feel like even though a lot of games these days are now more and more colorful and stuff, not too many are color-themed. The only other one that we have or have played is Scoville that I can think of, which has a color theme to it.
Yeah.
Where you're combining
Holy
those colors
themed?
I don't know.
That's okay.
There's colors, but I mean it doesn't really affect as much. But it is a colorful game.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's coming in at a 3. Otherwise, I don't know that there's anything like groundbreaking about it. So it factor is kind of reserved just to give a score a little bit more of a bump. It's weighted the least in our scale, so it's just a little extra chunk.
Well, I went higher than you on this. I gave it a 6, and I just think the chameleon pieces, the artwork, like that all, and then with just the simplicity of the gameplay, like this is a solid game for what it is, and I have to applaud them for doing so well on that. And so I think the it factor for me is just that it's a really good package in this neat little box all wrapped with a bow, and I think that sells it, or it should be selling it more than anything out there, just because it is so well done, like so well thought out, and it's so easy and fun to play. So
yeah. So then we get to our final scores. I'm coming in at a 6.7, but like I said, with that little bump, it might have been a little bit higher. I can't think of the weight in my head. Probably maybe a 6.8 or 6.9, and with more plays, it would, with the history piece, would probably go up to around a 7 or low 7s for me.
I came in at a 6.1, so probably if we play it some more, I can see it bumping up there with a history piece. So yeah. Not a bad score at all.
Yeah, so those are our thoughts on Life of a Chameleon. Definitely check out the unboxing, like I said, to kind of get a better idea of what's all included in this game. See if you think it's a 9 in the presentation, or higher or lower.
I'm right about this.
Oh, she's right. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one, and as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.